Good evening, everyone. My name is Jason. I'm a customer service representative with the Assessment Review Commission. I'd like to thank Legislator McKevitt for inviting me to speak with you tonight to help you how to learn to file a grievance on your assessment online for free without the need to hire a company to do it for you. So at this time, we'd like to turn the microphone over to Legislator McKevitt for a few opening remarks.
Unmuting the microphone helps. Sometimes we actually better when you mute the legislators because we're less annoying that way. But instead, you actually get to hear me for a couple of minutes. So just want to thank Jason, want to thank the Assessment Review Commission for being able to go and holding this seminar and this workshop tonight. Certainly about a year ago when we did this virtually, I was hoping I'd be able to go and see you live tonight at a public library and have some discussion, talk about plenty of issues. Unfortunately, we're not there at this point. So hopefully, number one, everyone's being healthy these days and you and your families are well. But in the meantime, we'll be able to do this virtually once again. Again, we'll go through the entire seminar tonight. You'll have a chance through the box to go and ask questions, and we'll respond the best we can. If you have any other questions regarding after this, please feel free to go reach out to the Assessment Review Commission or call my office at 571-6213. If you're on my website, you can do that. You can send me an email, and we're going to go and help you in any issue whatsoever. In the meantime, again, you're able to grieve for free, and this workshop will be able to go and tell you how to do it without going and hiring companies. So again, thank you to the department. I'm going to turn this over to Jason now to do the seminar for the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Legislator McKevitt. Before we begin, I'd just like to remind everyone to take advantage of our Q&A feature for the online event. If you have any questions, just enter them into the question and answer bar. We'll answer as many of them as we can at the end of the presentation. And if you'll bear with me for just one moment, we're going to get the live presentation started for you here. Okay, what we're going to be going over tonight is how to appeal your assessment on the Assessment Review Commission's online system, which is called Arrow. What we have in front of you right now is just some information for you. The filing period for this year, and you'll be filing for the assessment for the 22-23 year. The filing period is from the first business day of January 3rd, to March 1st. If you have questions about this presentation while you're going through the process of filing and need assistance, you can always call the Assessment Review Commission's customer service line, and that number is 516-571-3214. Now, filing online with the Assessment Review Commission is easy and it's free to you. You're going to start off by going to our website, which you'll see at the right-hand panel, kind of towards the bottom, www.askarcnassau.com. That's where you're going to get started to file. Now, when you get to the Assessment Review Commission homepage, this is what you're going to see. Now, you may have questions and may want some review, and you'll notice that at our homepage, we actually have a video embedded right there at the top of the homepage called How to Appeal Your Assessment. And that's a short, like 6.5-minute version of what we're talking about tonight. So if you have questions, you can always watch that video to review. To get started, we're going to click the link on the left-hand side. Now, almost every link that I'm going to direct you to is going to be on the left-hand side of the page. And what we've done in the presentation is put little yellow arrows and circled it for you or boxed it in for you with a red line. So you're going to want to click on the link on the left-hand side that says Arrow for Assessment Review on the web. That will bring you to our Arrow homepage. Now, the very first thing we want to make sure is that you've registered with Arrow. Now, if you've registered in the past, you don't need to create a new registration each year. If you have multiple properties, you don't need a new registration. You can file multiple properties during multiple years all from the same account. So this next portion is for folks who haven't yet signed up with us and registered an Arrow account. So to register, we're going to click this link on the left-hand side that says Register with ARC. Once we've clicked that, it's going to bring us to this form. Now you'll notice that the required fields have an asterisk, such as your name. Please fill in the required fields. You'll also notice that the first bold-face line there is that ARC is offering the option of electronic communication for offers and determinations. Now, we in customer service will always recommend to you that you opt for electronic communication. The biggest benefit of that for you is that not only can you check your appeal status in real time at any time by logging into Arrow, but you also get your answers through your email. Meaning, instead of waiting for the post office to deliver something when we've sent it for, a week or however long it takes, when we send offers to you in your email, they arrive instantly. The other thing is they can't get lost in the mail. So we definitely recommend that you use electronic communication. Regardless of whether you use electronic communication or not, we do require you give us a valid email address. Now at the bottom of the form, you're going to choose a user ID and a password. The user ID and password are both going to be case sensitive, and it's important that you write them down, stick them to the fridge, or somewhere where you won't lose them, because they're not going to change, and if you make a mistake while entering them, the system will not let you in. So if you use a capital letter on either one, you've got to make sure you enter it the same way when you go to log in. But you don't want to forget them. When you're done completing the form, just click the yellow button at the bottom that says Complete Registration. Now, if you look to the left top of what we're showing you on the screen, after completing the registration correctly, it will give you a little thank you message. Please click here to continue. That will bring you back to the Assessment Review Commission the Arrow homepage, rather. We also recommend that when you're not using the system, whether you're done filing or filing your appeal, or you're not using it in other methods, that you make sure to click log out and log out of the system for security purposes. And that button is, again, with the links on the left-hand side. Also, when you have completed your registration, the system will generate a confirmation email and send it to the email address that you've provided. It'll look something like this. Maybe some minor differences based on the email browser, email account system that you're using. Now, the next time you visit Arrow to log into your account, once again on the left-hand links, you'll click Log In. When you click Log In, you look to the bottom of the screen. The page will look something like this. You'll enter your user ID, you'll enter your password, and then click the button for Login underneath those. We're going to talk about how to file using two methods tonight. The first way that we're going to talk about filing is using our utility, which is called Sales Locator. Sales Locator is a tool that we've provided you that will assist you filling out your application. Sales Locator supports residential 1, 2, and 3 family homes. It does not, however, support condominiums or co-ops. Now, what Sales Locator does is it provides adjusted sales prices of the properties that you're comparing to your own, and that can help you determine if your property is currently overvalued by the Department of Assessment. So to use Sales Locator to file an appeal, we're going to focus on the link on the left-hand side and click the link that says Sales Locator. Now, the first thing that we have to do is find the property. Now, when you click Sales Locator, it'll ask you to do a property search. When you search for this property, you're not searching like on a website or Google or a search engine on the internet. You're actually searching the county database. So the way you enter the information is a little important. We suggest that you enter only the house number, the name of the street, and the name only. What do I mean by that? Let's say you live on Main Street West. You would only enter the word Main. You wouldn't enter ST, you wouldn't enter street, and you wouldn't enter west. So the number, the name of the street, and then the zip code. Those are required. Then click search. Alternately, you can search by the section, block, and lot, but you can't combine the two. So this is why we recommend using the address, the number, the name of the street, and the zip code. Once you click search, the system will return the property. You'll see on the left is the parcel ID. The parcel ID number is a unique identifier for your property that's made up of your section, block, and lot written in a specific way. When you see it here, it's also a link, and you'll want to click the parcel ID to move forward with Sales Locator. Now, you'll have to enter this security code to prove that you're not doing something inappropriate, or that you're not a hacker or a robot using the system. The way you do that is by entering the white letters from the black field into the entry field to the right, and then you'll click continue. Now Sales Locator is going to give you summary information about your property. You'll see a photograph of your property to the left, the parcel ID, address, the class of property, school district, village, etc. If the photograph is an older one, that's okay. This will not affect your appeal. You'll also see dwelling information underneath the photo. You'll notice that underneath the dwelling information, some of those values are things that we can change. And we're going to cover what we can do with that here in just a moment. Let's look to the right. You'll see assessment information for the year that you're filing the appeal, the 23/24 year. At the bottom of the assessment information is the taxable market value and the assessed value. In this example, $467 is the assessed value. This is the value that you are actually appealing, meaning you are telling the Assessment Review Commission that you believe that this value is incorrect, that it's too high, and that you're asking us to lower it, and you're going to provide information to help us come to a determination. A question that we often get right in the center of assessment information is where it says subject to 6% cap. The law in New York State is that your assessed value, not your market value, but your assessed value cannot raise beyond 6% from one year to the next. Now, there's an exception to that, and that is if the homeowner does changes to the property, renovations, construction, etc. If you see that it says subject to 6% cap, no, there's nothing to be alarmed about. That just means that your assessed value did not raise beyond 6%, and therefore the cap didn't apply to this year. Let's take a look at how we can change some of the dwelling information on the left if we think that there's a problem. Here we've zoomed in on the dwelling information. To make a change, if any of this information is incorrect, we can just click into the appropriate bar. In this example, we're going to change the number of bathrooms from 2 on the left to 3 on the right. Once you've made a change, the button will then appear as Apply Changes. You would then click that button. Now we should mention that this only changes the value for the purpose of presenting it to ARC for the appeal. It does not change the information permanently. If there's any information on your property card that is incorrect, it's important you tell us about it on the appeal. However, ARC cannot change it for you permanently. You would need to contact the Nassau County Department of Assessment if there is a mistake on your property card and work with them to get it changed. Now, as long as that has been changed or it was correct already, to move forward, we're then going to click the button underneath dwelling information that says Find Sales. Sales Locator is going to present you a list of homes sorted by distance that are similar in type to yours in your school district. You'll choose a few of these homes to compare to yours to prove that your property is over-assessed. Sales Locator will support you selecting up to 8. However, you really only need 3, maybe 3 to 5 to actually prove your case. So you want to look for homes that are as close to yours as possible that have sold for less than the value of yours. You can also manually enter additional properties in Part E of the application, and we're going to cover that later. In this example, we've selected 3 properties to compare. The way you select is by checking the box that is to the right of the photo of the property. When we've finished selecting properties, we're then going to click the bottom box that says Select Check Properties and Continue. Sales Locator is now going to give you a summary of your property and the comparable properties that you chose. You won't be able to come back to this screen once we move forward, or once you move forward in the application. So if you would like to keep this for your records, you would want to print the screen now. On the left, you'll see your property. Your property is going to be the basis of comparison. You'll see the sale price of your property the last time it sold. And if you look to the right for the properties that you're using to compare, you'll see their sales prices on their particular sales date. Now, if you look underneath where it says Adjustments, let's look at the property on the left, your property in this example first. You'll notice that the adjustment column all reads 0. That's because your property is the basis of comparison. However, if you look to the right at the next property, you'll notice there are values inputted in there. That's because Sales Locator is automatically adjusting that home to be more like your home. So if you have more square footage in your home, it'll add a value to equal that home's square footage to yours. And it does this with bathrooms, living area, garage, whether or not there's a basement, etc. At the very bottom, you'll notice that Sales Locator has also automatically adjusted the price of those sales for you. When you're done taking a look at this summary, just click the button at the bottom that says Continue. Before continuing to the application, Sales Locator and the Assessment Review Commission require you to agree to this disclaimer. Sales Locator is not an appraisal, and it's not an opinion on the value of the property by the Assessment Review Commission. You will have to agree to that to proceed. You'll do so by clicking the button that says, I agree, proceed. The next page you will see will show you a summary of the values from those comparable properties. You see it here at the bottom of the screen where it says Results for Selected Sales. Click Continue to submit an appeal. Now, this is an overview of the application. Sales Locator is going to automatically import information about your property into the application for you. Makes the application go much quicker. Sales Locator will put information into parts A, B, and E automatically for you. The first thing you'll do in the application is to select the type of property. You'll be selecting an AR1 for a residential 1, 2, or 3 family home and condominiums. Here's an example of some of the things that Sales Locator has automatically moved into part B and E for you. We're going to come back to each of these parts individually in a moment. Now that you've selected the type of property and the type of application, which is a Form AR1, let's take a look at these little question marks that we have boxed in red for you to take a look at. If at any time during the application you see a question mark, you can hover your mouse over the question mark and it will give you additional information and clarification about what we're asking you to input in the given field. In this example, here's a clarification for the taxpayer and applicant's name in Part A. Now, Part A is a required field in the application. You'll notice in Part A that your parcel ID number, that unique identifier, has been brought over for you from Sales Locator, as well as the picture of your property, the address, and the name on the roll. In Part A, you need to enter your name for taxpayer applicant's name. Here we've done the example of John Smith. But what if John Smith had a spouse or a co-owner? The Assessment Review Commission can only speak about an appeal with the person who filed it, the owner of the appeal, the applicant who filed it. So if by chance you have a spouse or co-owner who might be interested in talking with us about the appeal, it's very important you put their name in other owner's name. If their name is not on the appeal and they call to ask questions, the Assessment Review Commission can't speak to them, even if their name is on the deed or the mortgage. You then need to select the type of form. Select the option that fits for you. In most cases, it will be individual, but you may be filing as a trustee of a trust or an LLC. Most homeowners will file as an individual. Part B of the application is also required. The first part is the applicant's estimate of what the property is actually worth. Now, in this example, Sales Locator has brought over a number. It's brought over the average of the 3 homes that we compared. You can enter any number that you believe the property is worth in Part B, even if that number differs from what Sales Locator calculated. You don't need to enter a $sign, nor do you need to enter cents, just the number. You also have to answer the question, is the property offered for sale or under contract? If the answer is yes, you'll need to enter in the price for this, that it's offered for sale, or the price under the contract. Part C of the application is already taken care of for you, and you can skip right over it. Part D of the application is optional. When you first look at it, it will appear to you the way we have it on the left. You'll see Part D and a little pink button that says Display. Click the pink button that says Display and it will open up Part D. Because Part D is optional, this is where you can tell us contextual things that you want us to know to help prove your case that you are over-assessed. Some of the most common ones are available for you to check at the very bottom of Part D, such as maybe you live with a view or next to commercial property, and that lowers the value of your property. You can also type information into the box that says other facts. Now you can't type a huge amount. It'll give you a paragraph or so. If you need additional room to tell us information, you can add attachments to your appeal. And we're going to cover how to add attachments in just a little while. You can add attachments to the appeal after the appeal has been successfully submitted. Part E is for entering comparable properties. Sales Locator has already brought over the information about the 3 properties we chose to compare ourselves. If you wanted to enter a property manually, you would click the magnifying glass to search for the parcel ID. When you click that, it'll look the exact same way as when you searched for your own house, and you'll want to search in the same manner. Use the use the house number, the name of the street, and the zip code only. You would then enter the sale date, the sale price in a whole number, and any comments that you might have. You can enter as many as 10 comparable properties. However, ARC recommends 3 to 5. The last part of the application is Part F, which is also required. You will once again have to enter a security code. Please then read the statement, and then you'll select from the drop-down the type of signatory that is certifying the statement as true. For most applicants, it will be owner of record. At the very bottom of Part F and the application form is a button that says Submit Application Form. It's important that you only submit the application form one time. It will warn you if you are about to submit a duplicate application. If you submit a duplicate application, neither application can move forward and you would need to withdraw one of them. And we're going to cover how to do that in just a moment. So, once you've filled out Part F, the signatory, selected owner of record, you click Submit Application Form. Let's go over what happens if there's any mistakes. If you've made any errors in the application, perhaps left out required information or something, Arrow will alert you what part of the application that the error is in. If you see at the top, it'll give you a message in red telling you the part of the application where the error is. It will also highlight the box where the error has occurred. All you have to do is correct the error and submit the application form. Once the application has been submitted successfully, Arrow will give you a confirmation number called an application number. You should write this number down and keep it for your records. You can make changes to the application. You can also add attachments to the application now that it's been submitted. Arrow will also generate an email confirmation and send it to the email address on record with the confirmation application number, your parcel ID, and your appeal number. Now, if we want to add attachments, such as documents, appraisals, photographs, or whatever, right underneath the application number, you'll see a button that says View or Add Attachments. Click that button. When there are no attachments already, Arrow will alert you that it didn't find any documents and ask if you'd like to add one, and you'll click Yes. A pop-up window will appear. When using Arrow, you'll need to disable pop-up blockers. That is a security feature on your computer. It is not part of the Arrow system. So we won't be able to assist you if you're not sure how to disable pop-up blockers. I suggest folks Google it when they call me, but every computer system is different, so you'll have to look into what kind of security systems you have on your particular computer. But when you click yes to adding an attachment, a pop-up will occur. You'll first click Choose File and navigate to the attachment that you want to add and double-click it. You'll then choose the type of document from the drop-down list that you are attaching. Once that's done, click the button that you see at the bottom that says Submit Attachment. You'll then see a list of documents and items that you've attached. You can delete them if you added one incorrectly. You can also add additional ones by clicking the button above that says Upload New Document. Then you can also return to the appeal form by clicking the button that says Return to Appeal Form. You can add attachments to your application on Arrow up until the due date of March 1st. After that, you would need to either drop them off or mail them to the Assessment Review Commission. Our address is below, but we're going to repeat the address and phone number again at the end of the presentation. After we've returned to the appeal, we can now click Arrow Home, which is a link at the left-hand side in blue, to return to the home page, or we could log out, which is also a link on the left-hand side. You can check the status of your appeal application at any time during the appeal period by clicking the link on the left that says Appeal Filing Status Change. Let's briefly go over how to file an appeal without using Sales Locator. To do so, we would click the link on the left-hand side that says File an Appeal. You'll have to select the type of form again, AR1, for the type of property for residential 1, 2, or 3 family homes. Now, Part A is, of course, required. To get your information loaded in Part A, we'll click the hourglass to search for the parcel ID. The same type of search window that we looked at before will appear, and we're going to type in the information in the same way, using the number, the name of the street only, and the zip code, and then clicking Search. Once we're sure that that's the correct property, we then will click the parcel ID number itself, which will be a link in blue. Clicking the parcel ID number will make the information populate into Part A for you. You will then enter the taxpayer applicant's name and any other owners or co-owners' names and select the type of form as we went over in the previous portion. Part B is required, of course. You'll enter your estimate of the full market value of your property. Once again, don't use a $sign or a decimal point. Also answer the question, is the property offered for sale or under contract? Part C, we can skip. It'll already be done for you. If you'd like to enter information into Part D, the optional section, once again, you would open up Part D by clicking the pink display button. You would then select anything that was applicable you wanted to share with us, and type in any other facts into the box. Part E for comparable sales is also optional. If you wanted to enter comparable sales that you had found yourself, you would enter those by searching for the parcel ID by clicking the magnifying glass, and then searching for the property in the same way that we've done before. Once again, Part F is also required. You would type the security text from the black box, and you would select the type of signatory certification. For most people, it will be owner of record. Then submit the application form as we went over before. Errors in the application will be highlighted for you in red, and at the top of the application, arrow will tell you where the errors have occurred. In this example, errors are in Part A and Part B. Arrow will also tell you that the appeal was not submitted and that you have to fix the errors first and resubmit. Once you've corrected the errors, submit the appeal. The confirmation message with the application number will come up once the appeal has been successfully submitted, and an email will be generated to the email account on file with the confirmation information and application number. Let's go over how we can check the status of our appeal and how we can submit changes to our appeal. The first thing we have to do when we log into Arrow to do either of these things is to find the appeal. To do that, to find your appeal, you'll click the link on the left-hand side that says Appeal Filing /status/change. You will then need to search for your appeal. You don't need to enter every box provided for you. The two main ones that you should use are the year. In this case, it would be the 23-24 year. And if you recall, I suggested you write down the application number from the confirmation before. So use the year and the application number, and then click Search for Appeals. Once you've clicked Search for Appeals, Arrow will show you the appeals it has found with that criteria. The application number will be in blue and is a link. Clicking it will take you to your application. When we've gotten to the application, to make a change, we would go to the specific part of the application that we wanted to change. In this example, Part B. Let's say we wanted to change the dollar amount that the applicant was estimating and requesting that the assessment be reduced to. You would make the change in the box. At the top of the part, you'll see a button on the right-hand side that says Submit Changes. You only need to click that button one time, and the changes to your appeal will be submitted. While you're at the appeal, you also could add additional documents if you chose to. The button to do this will be at the very top of the application. Look for the button that says ARC Communications and Attachments. Clicking that button is how you would add a new document. When the Assessment Review Commission eventually sends you a reply to your appeal, that's also where you would see communications from us to you. Once you click ARC Communications and Attachments, to upload a new document, you would then click the button that says Upload a New Document. If for any reason you need to withdraw your appeal, there's a button underneath your parcel ID that says Withdraw Appeal. Only one appeal can be filed per property. Duplicates must be withdrawn for the application to be processed. If duplicate applications are on a single property, neither application will move forward. Again, make sure pop-up blockers are turned off before you click the button that says Withdraw Appeal. The message will then appear and ask you to confirm that you've read the terms. Once you withdraw the appeal, you cannot go back, cannot restore a withdrawn appeal. To withdraw the appeal, you would then have to click Agree that you have read the terms of the agreement. A message will then appear in red at the top of the application, letting you know that the application was successfully withdrawn. If you look toward the bottom of the screen, let's look to the very right side. On the very right-hand side, you'll see a status for the appeal. The status has now changed to withdrawn. We'd like to take some time to answer questions you might have.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Robert Shapiro. I'm one of the appraisers at the Assessment Review Commission, and I'll be joining Jason to answer some of your questions. And we have quite a few really good ones, so that helps out because a lot of times the questions that you ask, a lot of folks are thinking and just didn't ask them. So we're going to go through quite a few of these. Obviously, Jason, if you see something you want to grab, feel free to. I'm going to start at the top, and we had a question on Part B. So I'm going to bring Part B up on the screen over here. And the question was asking about what are we supposed to put into that box in Part B. Now, on the screen, I have the version from Sales Locator. So if you use Sales Locator, it automatically puts a value in from Sales Locator into that white box. But whether you go through Sales Locator or don't use it, you can put what you want in that box. Now, the person who asked the question was saying, if my house is assessed at $490,000, what do I put in there? Well, if you're filing a grievance and you're assessed at $490,000 and you feel that is too high, that your home is perhaps worth, say, $430,000, well, that $430,000 is the value you put into that box. If you feel it's less than that, you think it's worth $400,000, then put $400,000 into that box. They are asking you what you think your home would sell for on the open market. So that is what that box is for. And again, when we're talking about what you think your home would sell for on the open market, we're talking about a fair market sale, which means that if you were to put your house up for sale, trying to get as much as you can get for it, and somebody is looking to buy your home and they want to pay as little as possible, you guys come to a meeting of the minds, agree on a sale price, that will be a market sale. So again, you are putting down what you think your home would sell on the open market. Going to jump around a little bit. Let's see. Here's a good question. Can my appeal increase my taxes? Okay. So first off, and I know Jason loves to stress this, when you're filing an appeal on your assessed value. We don't deal with the actual taxes. You're filing an appeal on your assessed value, which is going to be used to calculate your taxes. That being said, your assessed value cannot be increased because you filed an appeal. It can be lowered or it can be kept the same, but if you file an appeal, they're not going to raise your assessed value because you filed an appeal. We had a question that was asking how long it takes to hear back whether your appeal is successful. And Jason had in the presentation that brochure. And if you notice on the brochure, it's got the calendar and tells you how this works. So you file your appeal from now until March 1st. That's the deadline. And by the way, please do not wait until the last minute to file, because if you wait till the last night and it's 10 minutes before midnight and our website crashes because everyone is trying to file at the same time and you are unable to file on time, there's nothing we can do. So please don't wait until the last minute. In fact, you're watching tonight, you have all that information fresh in your mind. You can do it tonight, you can do it tomorrow, but please do not wait. In regards to the question about how long will it take to hear back, ARC is going to review the appeals for this period, for the 2023-24 period, which is what you're filing an appeal for, from March 2nd, 2022 through March 31st of 2023. There's a lot of appeals to go through. It takes a long time. So don't expect to hear back from us right away. And you can keep an eye on the status of your appeal by logging into the system like Jason showed you and checking on the status of your appeal. But again, it can take quite some time. And again, you should print out a copy of that brochure and keep it handy. In fact, Michael has posted on the Q&A, there is a link where you can just click on the link and download a copy of that brochure.
I'd like to piggyback and add to what you said, Rob, if I may. That's correct, everyone. The appeal process is a long process. The other thing that I would caution you is that the Assessment Review Commission sends out answers to appeals in waves. So do not be alarmed if a neighbor gets an answer to an appeal and you do not. The absolute best way to deal with this is to file online using Arrow and opt for electronic communications. That way you can be assured that the notice of an answer that we send you will not get lost. It's just very, very important. The other thing is you never have to guess about what the status of your appeal. Rob, could we just take a look at any slide showing a received? Thank you. Perfect. This will work. So when we were talking about withdrawing the appeal, we went over and we looked at the right-hand side of the screen where the status is. Once you've filed your appeal successfully, the status will say received, and it will continue to say received throughout the appeal period until ARC has sent you an answer. Once we've sent you an answer, that will then change, and it'll be a yellow button that'll usually be in regards to a settlement or a preliminary determination. But the process can take a great deal of time. The other thing that I'd like to mention on that is rather important, and we didn't address it directly, but every year stands alone for the purpose of appeals. So if you have not received an answer from last year's appeal, that you still should and can file for the current appeal year for the 23-24 year.
One thing I want to mention, Jason, in case you didn't, is that when you start to file your appeal with Arrow, you need to complete the process. You can't start it and then walk away. The website will do what's called timing out, which means that if you start to do this and then you say, I'm going to go, watch the football game or go get some dinner and come back, it's going to kick you out of the website and you're going to have to start all over again. So please set aside a time block for you to start and complete the process all in one sitting. Because again, we don't want you to get through part of it and all of a sudden get kicked out and have to start all over again.
This is a good.
Carry on, Jason. Legislator, I know you wanted to jump in here. Please do so.
Yeah, just a couple of points. I know people can make me a little frustrated that it is a very long process, but there is a very good reason why the process takes so long. Again, the process we're going on right now will affect the school bill in October of 2023. And why is that? Because it is our goal to go and have all these appeals done and all adjudicated before it gets to that point. So when the school bills get sent out by October 1st, 2023, all the claims and grievances are already settled, are able to move on with it. If they are not done by October 1st, 2023, and let's say you get a settlement or adjudication after that date, then if there's a refund which is due to you, first of all, you have to overpay your tax to get a refund, but then the county has to pay back all the taxes. So even though the school district is about 65 to 70% of your taxes, and then you also have the town taxes, maybe some special district taxes, the county has to pay back 100% of those taxes because we are the guarantor of that assessment roll. So the reason why the process takes so long is we want to get the process as accurate as possible. There was a time, not too distant ago, where the county was paying over $100 million in refunds for all the assessments. That's $1 billion over 10 years. So the reason why we have this process, try to get as accurate as possible, so we're not going just refunding money and not spending money on things like streets and parks, which we should spend money on, and instead just doing money refunds. So that's part of the purpose behind it. Another thing which people often tell me too is, well, I'm paying this as taxes, my neighbor's paying much less, there must be something wrong. You really have to look at the assessed values, not the taxes, because every house can be different depending upon whether your neighbor has an enhanced star, could have a veterans exemption, a seniors exemption. They can have a veterans exemption with a disability, which can really significantly change it. So, obviously you're caring about taxes more than anything else. But again, you really can't look at the taxes because there are many programs we have for people for various portions of need. So it's really an apples oranges comparison. You really have to go and you have to really look at the assessed values, which is what the part of the seminar is too. I know some people who are concerned that, there's a lot of information today. They want to see it again. Our people aren't going to make it. We are going to take tonight's presentation. It's been recorded and will be on my county legislative website, which is the website how you got here tonight. So that'll continue to be there. And again, you can always go and contact the department for questions, or if you have any questions regarding these or any other matters, please feel free to call my office, either call me or email me. We're always happy to try to get back to you on any matter. If it's even, people say, I don't know who to call. I don't know if it's a federal matter, a state matter, or a legislative matter. Okay, come to me. I'll get you the right place. If I'm not the right department, I'll walk you through the solution till it gets to the very end. And that's one of the things that my office performs.
Great. Legislator, your phone number once again so we can post it for everyone?
Yeah, the phone number is 516-571-6213. Again, 516-571-6213.
And that's posted now in the Q&A if anybody needs to access that number. We got a question that was asking about Part D, and I get more excited about Part D than Jason does. I think Part D is a great tool for you to use in terms of presenting your case. And one of the main things about, we offer this option to grieve your assessment yourself, to file your appeal yourself without using a company. And besides the fact that the companies are going to charge you a fee or take a percentage of any savings you get, the biggest reason to do this is nobody knows your home better than you do. So you're the best advocate for this, especially if it's a case where something about your location may have an adverse impact on the value of your home, but it's not obvious. So, if you're located on a very busy street and there's double yellow lines going through and lots of commercial buildings right around your home, that's pretty obvious. So most people looking at a map can see you have a lot of commercial traffic in the area and so forth. That's going to impact your value. But let's think about it this way. If you are located on a street, it's not a double yellow line, it's a typical street, but people in your neighborhood know that, hey, they can cut through your street, avoid all the lights, go around, skip all the lights, and save themselves a few minutes. So you're constantly having people drive by to make that shortcut. Now, on a map, it doesn't look like a shortcut, but you know because you live there. So go to Part D, and in other facts, explain. People in the area use my street as a cut through, so I have a lot of traffic, even though it's not obvious. Let us know. And by the way, if you can't fit what you need to tell us in the other facts box, you can always type up a Word document, and as Jason explained, add it as an attachment to your appeal. So don't think you're limited by that one box. So again, if there's anything you know about that may not be obvious, if there's a gas station across your street or a busy company, take a photo, send it to us and say, this is what I look at all day. I look at a gas station or an auto repair shop and it's noisy and this is what I see. It's very important. You are the best advocate for you. Another quick example, if you're located near a school, now it might not look like you're very close to a school, but maybe all the streets by the school have no parking signs and your block is the very first one that doesn't have a sign, so all the kids know they can park on your street and you can park on your own street during the day. That is not something that will be obvious to the appraiser looking at your appeal. You know about it because you live there. So take the time. Again, Part D is entirely optional, but I think it's one of the best places and ways to make your case. So take advantage of it and let us know that information. Let's see what other great questions we have here. And Jason, feel free to jump in if you see any question you want to address. Let's see.
Yeah, let's go over this one again. A participant asked, where do I find my assessed value? So what you would do is you're going to click the link for Sales Locator. You'll enter the address for your property. As we had described, you're going to enter the number, the name of the street, and then the zip code. And then once Sales Locator finds the property, you'll click the parcel ID and then move forward to Sales Locator and you'll see your assessed value on that summary screen. Could you pull up that summary screen for me, Rob, if you don't mind? Once you get to this screen here on Sales Locator, you can see that your assessed value is all the way at the bottom right.
Okay, while we are discussing Sales Locator, we had someone that was asking about the adjustments. So I want to go to that page where we're talking about adjustments, and it is located right here. What the computer does is compare and contrast your home with the comparable sales you've chosen, and it makes adjustments to account for differences. So if you have 2 bathrooms and the home that you use as a comparable only has 1, it's going to adjust for the fact that that home only has 1 bathroom, and it's going to add value. The idea being, it wants to make these comparable sales as similar to yours, and basically the thought process is look at the first 2 sales we have here, or look at the subject, 504 Christie Street. And then the sale we have here is 1171, 1171 Hempstead Avenue. The computer is going to add and subtract value to try and make it so that you would know that if 1171 Hempstead Avenue had the same room counts and square footage of the home and lot size as our subject, instead of selling for $450,000, which is what it sold for, that it would have sold for $465,895. That's what those adjustments do. They account for differences between your home and the sales you've chosen as comparables. Now, somebody asked, if I'm putting a sale into the report, do I put the adjusted value or the sales price? You're going to put the sale price in, because our appraisers are going to basically do something very similar to what Sales Locator does and make adjustments to compare the sales you provided to us and compare them to your home, the subject. So our appraisers handle that. You don't have to do that. So please, if you're adding a sale manually, you would do that by just putting in the actual sales price. And along the same thought process, we all often get asked, well, if Sales Locator doesn't have the sale, where can I go to find sales? And we talk about using Zillow. If you have access to multiple listing, a great resource to find sales is to contact a local realtor. Now, we've all gotten those advertisements in our mailbox saying, hey, are you selling your home? If so, give me a call. Well, give them a call and say, well, I'm not selling my home. but I'm looking for help to find comparables because I want to file an appeal. Most realtors are going to say yes because they're hoping that if and when the time comes for you to sell your home, you're going to remember, hey, that realtor was really nice and helped me out. Why don't I give them a call and see if they can sell my home? So that's a great resource you should take advantage of. We're getting some great questions, so forgive us for the silence, but we're reading what you asked and making sure we have the proper answers for you. And a lot of these questions we've answered, which is great. Okay, here's a great question. How does a recent sale of your home affect your appeal? Excellent question. Well, again, we're talking about market value. And what's the best proof of your home's value than if you just sold it? So if your home is currently assessed for, say, $500,000 and you just sold it on the open market for $450,000, that's some pretty good proof that your home is overassessed. So you could mention in Part B, I'm going to skip over to Part B real quick over here, because it asks, is your property offered for sale or under contract? And you can mention if it's under contract or have been sold. You can check off yes, excuse me, enter the price. And you can attach a copy of a recent MLS listing of your home. If you have a contract to sell for your home, you can attach that as well. That's great proof that if your sale price is under your assessed value, that your home may be overassessed.
I know it's one of the comments from a person who was saying they overpaid for their house. And right now I'm trying to figure out what does that mean in this situation, because obviously during COVID, we've seen house prices appreciate to amounts I never thought I would see in my lifetime in this area. And obviously, you know, I would see open house sometimes of literally 20, 30 people down the block trying to go and look at a house. Listen, we try to go and have a situation where we try to get the assessment as correct as possible. You know, you use the number if you think that it's overpaid. You know, again, that's why you use comparable home to see what the true value is. And it's something which evolves over time. Again, it's not a perfect science, but something we certainly try to do as best as possible. And again, right now it's ramped up. We saw it happen in the mid 2000s as price escalated, and then there was a bust around 2008, and they come down a little bit. So again, you know, you understand your frustration, match frustration in the county where we're trying to value 400,000 properties at once and try to get the value right. That's why this board exists, because it's just not possible to get those properties right. So you go and you do the appeal, and be one by one, you'll be treated as much time as fairly as the system will possibly allow.
Great, thank you, Legislator McKevitt. It's great having you here. Not all the legislators stick around for the entire seminar, so it's great that Legislator McKevitt does and answers some great questions. So we're glad to have him here. Someone had asked if the slides are going to be available when we post the video, which I believe will be done by Monday. That's the plan. All the slides are in the slideshow, so whatever you saw tonight, you will see on that video. I wanted to cover something again because we're talking about sale prices and comparables and so forth. And I mentioned about a market sale. When you're looking for comparables, you're looking for market sales, which means you have someone who's looking to sell their house, someone who's looking to buy their house. They negotiate, meet in the middle, come up with a sale. That's a market sale. What's not a market sale? An estate sale. Often if someone passes away, the kids are often looking to sell the house quickly. So there's a good chance it may sell below what it would normally sell for. Foreclosures. You know, the bank is looking to just get rid of the house. They sell it sometimes for a large number less than what it's actually worth. That's not a market sale. Now, if you're looking at Sales Locator, how do you know what's a market sale, what's not a market sale? Well, if you're looking at Sales Locator, you're looking at the sales, and if most of the sales are, say, between $450,000 to $600,000, and then you see a sale that sold for like $300,000, more than likely that was not a market sale. Now you may say, well, I don't care. I'm going to put it in there anyway because I want to prove my case. You are more than welcome to do that. Just realize our appraisers are going to look at that, and they're going to look at the neighborhood, and they're going to see most of the sales are selling between $450,000 and $600,000, Why did this house sell for $300,000? They're going to do their research and find out that it's not really a market sale, and they're not going to use it as part of their analysis. So you're more than welcome to include it, but if you're limited on how many comparable sales you're going to send to us, you probably shouldn't waste that opportunity by sending us a sale that you know isn't really a true market sale and isn't really a true reflection of the market. And just be aware, our appraisers can tell the difference, and they have the way to look it up in public records, on multiple listing, and determine whether or not it was in fact a market sale or not.
A homeowner asked, should I bother with an appeal if essentially all of the home prices are way above my assessed value? That's a great question. The way we answer that question is very simple. If you believe that you are assessed incorrectly, you should file the appeal. It is your right to file the appeal, and you absolutely should appeal if you feel that you are incorrectly assessed, regardless of what other homes are selling for, regardless of what they may be assessed for. If you believe you are assessed incorrectly, absolutely file the appeal and put whatever information you have in front of us, in front of the Assessment Review Commission for consideration.
And there's no downside to an appeal. I mean, obviously the county, we spent a lot of money trying to go and process it, hiring a staff, but we've already done that anyway. But again, there's no negative. Your assessment can't go up if you appeal. And when I tell people sometimes, listen, if everyone in your block, makes a grievance and you don't, and a number of them even get just a small amount reduced, well, at the end of the day, you may want to pay higher taxes because they went down and you didn't. So, I mean, again, there's no downside filing the appeal. And again, if you feel like a claim, that's why the process exists, for you to have that opportunity.
Great. Someone was asking, my neighbor's house, similar to my house, was sold during the summer of 2019. However, the price and sales locator is dated and wrong, not the 2019 price. How do you get the 2019 sales price, which is more relevant? Well, like I said before, if you could track it down in Zillow or MLS or get it from a realtor, you can put it into Part E manually. And in the comments section, you can say that sales locator has the wrong information, or we have the right information, and so forth. Just add it to the comments, and then the appraiser reviewing your case will know to double check the records and see that it has the wrong information and that you have the right information. So if you have information from whatever source you have it, put it in there. I also want to remind people that you can use Sales Locator and go all through the process, and if the sales aren't supporting your case, you don't have to use sales. You don't have to use those sales. You don't have to use any sales whatsoever. That is why Part E is optional. If you submit an appeal, you can fill out Part A, Part B, Part C, skip Part D and E, go straight to Part F, submit your appeal. That's a valid appeal. The appraisers will look at your case and try and find information on their own in terms of comparables, in terms of seeing if there's any external issues and so forth. Part D and E, while they're optional, is the chance for you to make your case. So again, while they're optional, we really recommend you take the time to go through and present your case by taking advantage of Part D and Part E. But like I said, it's optional for a reason. You are not required to enter anything in the Part D or Part E in order to submit a valid appeal. Let's see here. We're going through some of these questions here. Just a reminder that you are appealing for the 2023-24 appeal period. And how do you know that for sure? Well, when you go into Sales Locator, you'll notice that it says your assessment information is for the 2023/2024 period, and it mentions what the appeal period is as well. So all that information is right here for you. Just got to go to the right spot for it. So let's see. Are the last sale prices the greatest indicator that an appeal will go through, or living area and lot area? Well, again, we're basing our reviews based on comparable sales. Now, obviously, homes that are larger and have a larger lot area typically sell for more than homes that are smaller and on a smaller lot. But it depends on a lot of things besides that. It's not just lot area, living area, because if you have a small house, but it's located on the water, it may sell, or it may have a market value that is higher than a larger home that's not on the water. So there's multiple factors to go with. And that's why if your house is on the water, when we do our research, we're looking for other waterfront homes, because obviously your location is a very big factor in terms of the value of your home. Also, we often get the question asked, do I have to stay in the same zip code? And the answer is not necessarily. Big part of your location is what school district you are located in. And that's a big factor for people buying homes in the area, is what school you're located in. So you may be close to the border of another town. Say you're on the border between East Meadow and Levittown. But if the home is in the same school district, if the home is in the same school district, say for East Meadow and Levittown, you can use that home. In fact, Sales Locator looks for homes in the same school district, not necessarily in the same town. So you can go where you think is valid. Again, school district is a major part of it. Your location, if you're on the water, is a major part of it. If your home backs to a major busy road like Hempstead Turnpike, then our appraisers are going to look for homes that are also backing to a busy road. And this is the mindset you should have as well when you're looking for comparable sales. And if you can't find sales that are backing to a busy road, you could say, well, yes, that home sold for $450,000, but it's in a much better location than my home is. And that's something to consider as well. And that's something our appraisers will consider as well.
It's great. There's what's the difference between doing it yourself or having a law firm doing the appeal instead. And this is why I come down to this point. Obviously, you're going to go to a firm. You have that right to do it, but they're going to take, a decent cut of whatever tax savings you may have at the end of the day. The advantage is they will do all the work for you. All you have to do is sign a postcard, and they do it at that point. The reason why we have this workshop is so you don't have to pay the firm. But it's going to take a little bit of work, and hopefully the information we've given you today has shown you do that work. And my experience, if you go and you put in the work and you really value it, because as Rob said beforehand, you know your house better than anyone else does, and you're going to spend more time than the law firm's going to do it, and that's where it's going to come down to. So it's really, how much you value time, how much you want to do it. But the reason why we're doing this tonight is you can save the money from paying that firm and be just as successful yourself.
Absolutely. And another thing to remember is we look at properties. We don't look at who submitted the appeal. We're looking at the properties and whether it's overassessed or not. So it often gets asked, do I have a better shot if I go with one of the companies? We look at the properties, so the answer is no. So, and again, if you win your appeal, filing yourself, any savings you get goes entirely to you. Some firms work on a straight fee. Some take 30, 40, 50%. That could be a lot of money. That should be in your pocket. So that's why we offer these seminars. That's why it's wonderful that the legislators like Legislator McKevitt bring us on to do this. And by the way, someone mentioned that there was a live seminar on January 28th. I don't know who's doing it, but it's not the Assessment Review Commission. We are doing these online because we feel it's the safest way to get them done and to get the information out there, and you're in the comfort of your own home and so forth. So again, Legislator McKevitt has given us the authorization. We're going to be posting a copy of this seminar probably by Monday. So keep an eye on the same spot where you found the link to join us tonight. And I think we hit all the questions. Pretty good. We'll wait a few more moments in case anybody has any last minute questions. Again, the information on your screen is for the Assessment Review Commission customer service. It's our website, our phone number, email address, our hours. Also published in the Q&A, along with Legislator McKevitt's phone number, is all of our contact information. There's a link if you want to download the brochure. You can click on the link. It will download the PDF right away. Also, we've given you the information that if you have any questions about the inventory of your home, like Jason said during the presentation, while you can change some numbers around in Sales Locator, if Department of Assessment has wrong information, if they think you have 6 bathrooms and you only have 3, they're basing your assessed value on 6 bathrooms. So you want to get that corrected. You can either call Department of Assessment, or you can click on the link we have in the Q&A and send them a message. Jason, you're the expert. What's the best way when you call Department of Assessment? They wait for the end of the message, correct?
That is correct. When you call the Department of Assessment, their number, by the way, is 516-571-1500. And the way to get a hold of them is that you cannot press any buttons. They're only a temptation. Hold the line all the way till the end.
So yeah, I told you he's the expert. One more thing we also get asked: if we call the Department of Assessment, will they have to come into our house? Well, if it's something interior, if they think you have 6 bathrooms and you want to show them you only have 2, they are going to have to come in the house. And to answer the next question that you're thinking, if you have something in their house that you don't want them to see, there's a good chance they may see it. So if you want them to come because they think you have 6 bathrooms and you only have 2, but you also have 3 kitchens in your house you're not supposed to have, they may see it. So I can't tell you to call them or not call them. It's entirely up to you, but that is something to consider. If it's something external, if they think you have a garage but you knocked it down last year, then there's a good chance they'll just drive by your house, see that the garage is gone, and make the adjustment. But again, that's all under the purview of Department of Assessment, which is a different department, so I can't speak on their behalf. But again, their phone number is available for you. You can click on a link and send them an email directly as well. And for anything that has to do with the inventory of your home, that's who you want to speak to.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we've gotten through all the questions. Someone thought that this was very thorough and mentioned their appreciation, and you're welcome. We're very happy to help. Don't forget, you have till March 1st to file your appeal. Please do not wait until the last minute. Go ahead and get that appeal done on Arrow soon while the information is fresh in your minds. If you have any questions, you can certainly call us at the ARC customer service line, which is 516-571-3214. And don't forget to visit the ARC website to get yourself started with Arrow. That website is www.askarcnassau.com. There's a short version of this video that the county produced that's about 6 minutes. Less questions and answers, just a quick run through. And then click the link on the left that says Arrow. And we'd like to thank Legislator McKevitt for coming and helping us put this on today. Thank you very much, Legislator.
Yeah, and thank you, Jason and Rob. Thank you once again for an excellent presentation. Again, we really appreciate the time you putting out there, make this process for people as simple as possible. Again, hopefully we'll see everyone in person one day. But again, this is the next best bet we can do is by doing virtually. Again, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Any question in the future, call the department, call myself, and we're more than happy to help you out.
Great. Thank you, Legislator. Hey, Jason, before we go, I saw we had a last-minute question about SCAR, about small claims appeal. Can you just address that procedure and what happens with that?
Okay, I can address it as a referral.
Yes.
Okay, the homeowner has a legal right to 2 appeals. The first appeal is through ARC, the Assessment Review Commission. If you file an appeal with ARC and that appeal, we do not come to an agreement together, which means either you don't agree with what ARC may offer or ARC doesn't offer any change, you then have a legal right to the second appeal, which is known as judicial review. There's an acronym for that that's called SCAR, S-C-A-R, Small Claims Assessment Review. However, it is not done through ARC. It is done through the Nassau County Clerk's Office. You would not be able to file for SCAR until after the ARC process has ended. So the filing period for SCAR for the 23-24 year would not be till April of 2023. But all we can do at ARC is reference you to the county clerk. There's some forms to fill out, and I believe you can also do it through their website, but you'd have to go to the county clerk's website.
And I am putting the link to the county clerk's website into the Q&A as we speak. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for joining us. Again, I want to thank Legislator McKevitt for having us. I want to thank Jason for another great job on the presentation. I want to thank Mike, who works behind the scenes, making sure everything runs smoothly. Again, we'll look to post this on Legislator McKevitt's website by Monday. And if you have any questions, please call us at the customer service line. Thank you all again for joining us, and have a wonderful evening.